Let us now look at the strength of acids and bases and dissociation constants Ka and Kb. The strength of an acid or base depends on its extent of dissociation in aqueous solution, and the extent of dissociation of the weak acid or weak base can be quantified using the concept of dissociation constants. Let us first look at the acid dissociation constant Ka. From what you have learned earlier on, a weak acid is one that undergoes partial dissociation in water to produce H3O+, also known as H+. This is the acid dissociation equation of the weak acid Ha, which gives its conjugate base A- and H3O+. In chemical equilibrium, you have learned to write the equilibrium constant, which is expressed as the concentration of products over the concentration of reactants. Applying the same knowledge to this equation, then the equilibrium constant of the weak acid will be expressed as such. However, in dilute aqueous solutions, the concentration of water is essentially constant. Hence, we can incorporate it into the equilibrium constant Kc and derive a new constant called an acid dissociation constant. So mathematically, H2O is constant. We can multiply it to the left-hand side of the expression with Kc. A constant multiplied by a constant gives you a new constant called Ka, and this is now your Ka expression. You are expected to be able to write the Ka expression for the weak acids given, and the units of Ka is expressed as mole per dm cubed. Just like equilibrium constant, acid dissociation constant Ka is also temperature dependent, meaning to say that it only changes when temperature changes. Stronger acids dissociate to a greater extent, and from the acid dissociation equation, it also means that the position of equilibrium lies more towards the right. And from here, the concentration of H3O+ increases, the concentration of A- increases, while the concentration of Ha decreases. This also means that a stronger acid will have a larger Ka value. Hence, the larger the Ka, the stronger the weak acid, and this is referring to weak acids only because strong acids undergo full dissociation and they do not have any Ka values. Let's now look at this term called polyprotic acids. Now we look at the basicity of an acid, which refers to the number of H+ ion per molecule donated by one acid molecule. And in this instance, if an acid is able to donate more than one H+, it is now called a polybasic or polyprotic acid. For instance, a monobasic acid or monoprotic acid, such as the ethanoic acid, can only donate one H+, whereas a dibasic acid or a diprotic acid, such as H2CO3, can now donate two H+. A tribasic acid or a triprotic acid, such as H3PO4, can now donate 3 H+. With this understanding, let's now consider a dibasic acid, H2A. We will write down the acid dissociation equation of the dibasic acid in two separate equations, each time with one H+ being lost. Now H2A will undergo a dissociation to lose one H+ to form Ha- in the first equation. And from your earlier knowledge of how the acid dissociation constant is being written, this is the expression for Ka1. The Ha- can undergo a second dissociation to lose the second H+ to form A2-, and again, applying what you have learned earlier on about writing the acid dissociation, this is how Ka2 is expressed. the value of successive Ka decreases significantly. This means that the value of Ka1 is much larger than the value of Ka2. Why is this so? For the first equation, the H plus is lost from a neutral molecule, whereas in the second equation, the H plus is lost from a singly negatively charged anion, and there is a greater attraction between the proton and the Ha minus. As such, the first dissociation is more likely to occur than the second dissociation. Let's now look at the base dissociation constant Kb. A weak base is one that undergoes partial dissociation in water to give OH-. This is the equation that represents the dissociation of the weak base, which gives its conjugate acid of BH+ and OH-. This is the equilibrium constant expression from the base dissociation equation, and from what we have learned earlier on, the concentration of water essentially remains constant, and we can express this to form the base dissociation constant Kb. So this is Kb, and this is the base dissociation constant expression, and the units for Kb is again mole per dm cube. Similar to Ka, Kb is temperature dependent. It changes only when temperature changes. And similar to Ka, a stronger base dissociates to a greater extent, and the value of Kb is larger. So in other words, the larger the Kb, the stronger the base, or rather the weak base, because strong bases undergo full dissociation and they do not have a Kb value. You may now pause the video for 2 minutes to complete the exercises. Let's now go through the exercise. You are to write the expression for the dissociation constant for the acids and bases given. So the Ka of CH3COOH, so we will write the acid dissociation equation first. So with water, it will give you CH3COO- and H3O+. So the Ka expression will be as such. For H2CO3, which is a dibasic acid, you need to write two equations. So the first one with H2O to give you HCO3- and H3O+. And the second gives you HCO3 2- and H3O+. And the Ka1 and Ka2 is as such, noting that the value of Ka1 will be bigger than the value of Ka2. Let's move on to part C. For NH3, which is a base, so base in water gives you NH4+ and OH-. So this is the Kb expression of NH3. And for the last one, this is an amine, so CH3NH2 with water. It will give you CH3NH3+ and OH-. So this is the Kb expression. Let's now look at pKa and pKb. Typically, we use the magnitude of Ka and Kb to measure the strength of acids and bases, but sometimes it is more convenient if we use the corresponding pKa and pKb. Now, P itself refers to applying the function of negative log base 10, so pKa means negative log base 10 of Ka, and pKb means negative log base 10 of Kb. You need to note that the larger the value of Ka, it means the smaller the value of pKa. This also means that combining with what you have learned earlier on, with the larger the value of Ka being stronger the acid, this also means that with a smaller pKa value, the acid is also stronger. So why is it that pKa is more convenient? Do note that in this example of HCOOH versus CH3COOH, you can see that Ka is usually expressed in the standard form. you need to be able to compare the relative magnitude. Whereas if you look at pKa, the values are more friendly, it's easier to compare. I know that the smaller the value, the stronger the acid. And this would mean that the 3.75 HCOH is actually a stronger acid.